Hey guys, welcome back to our review of Kamen Rider Amazons, or Amazon Riders for you stupid people, episode 13. As always, I'm your host, Frozen Stratos. Here with me today we have
Cinder Blaze.
My dude, welcome back. We didn't just get done watching episode 13. It's been a few days. So forgive us if we've forgotten a lot of the information, but I did not think this episode was particularly good, and I honestly thought it was a weak exit to the show's first season. What do you think?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with like the way it was done, like thematically, or like even like plot wise. Haruka and Jin kind of being at opposite ends of each other and kind of conflicting other ideals made a lot of sense because like at the end of the series, Haruka was just growing more and more sympathetic towards the Amazons, while Jin was always hard pressed against them, and that's something that we've kind of seen throughout the entire series, and it was kind of good to like have that kind of develop, especially in like the arc right before the end where he sees the humans living or not living, but eating at the restaurant and then just trying to get by, with, as peacefully as possible, and like even with all that development, just something about this fight just felt so bad.
See, and I feel like the problem lies within. I'm gonna crap on this director again because I guess that's all I do here. Like the way he displays things, like all his visuals. When you say show don't tell, even when he's showing, you're not really getting any information until they tell, right? Like, you see the fight, but you don't know what they're doing it for. Then he tells you what's happening. The characters tell you what's happening, and then you get the context, but by then it's too late, and you're already confused, and it's like, why were we here in the first place? You know?
Yeah.
And especially with, like, how the fight was displayed. Like, you see Jin coming back. You don't quite know his status. You hear all this talk about, oh yeah, he eats Amazons, and also he is an Amazon. We saw him last episode getting drenched or getting consumed by those fumes, and he's scarred up, but we don't know why he's still standing. Is it sheer force of will? Can he survive it? And since a lot of this director's like basis is off of show or tell, and we weren't specifically told what had happened to him or given a breakdown, like it left me very confused.
Yeah, like I think that was something that they implied with the previous episode with the whole Talal thing. It was only the strongest Amazons would survive, and obviously since he's a Kamen Rider, he would survive the whole gassing.
But I had no idea what sort of implication he said. He just said the strongest will survive. Does that mean that they will find a way to make it out of the gas, or does that mean that they will just, through their own genetics,
like probably like biologically they're just a stronger version, or just like a stronger Amazon, and that's kind of what the chairman for the company was kind of looking for, like the strongest beings that are kind of like devouring each other and just kind of throwing the whole town into chaos or something. Like what we do learn in this episode was that Jin ate Amazons. Like he freaking has it in his little pouch and just like eats it to fight.
Yeah.
And one thing that we've kind of seen throughout this entire series is like when people kind of like succumb to like their desires and like their hunger, they become more monstrous. And we saw that in Jin, which I really like. Like a lot of the stuff they do with Jin is pretty solid in my opinion, where he's just like his whole hunt for the Amazons has kind of gone to another level. He's like crazy right now, not full crazy, because like at the end when they just call the ceasefire for no reason. Okay, so I guess Jin isn't completely scot free. Although that wasn't his fault. He obviously kind of like lost that fight.
Yeah.
But then Haruka's just like, nah. You know what? My brain just stopped working. I'm a fish in the aquarium. Yeah. Oh wait, no, he's free. Sorry,
But
I'm
then
all over the place
also,
with this.
we had Jin's girlfriend to sort of tether him, to bring him back to normal, to bring him back to, the Jin that we like, the Jin that I like.
Yeah.
And I feel that since he didn't die, and a lot of death flags were raised, I feel a little cheated out of some of the emotion there with Jin's. Like, this felt like Jin's final battle. I don't quite know where else his character is supposed to go from here, because I feel like he was supposed to be like his whole character is meant to die in a blaze of glory, and maybe his mission wouldn't have been done, but if he got taken down by the Amazon he created, like he helped create, even get the belt, it would have been a bit more poetic.
Yeah, but I feel like because you mentioned his girlfriend, that's probably the thing that's kind of preventing him from kind of triggering those death flags all the way, because that is something that he wants by himself, but he isn't by himself. And like, no matter like how much he kind of wants to deny it, like even like he teases her all the time. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go do this and this by myself. I'm just gonna go kill myself while killing all the Amazons." She's like, she kind of gives like her usual airs and stuff. So
Yeah.
probably like the little back and forth. The whole like feeling cheated out of his death. I definitely felt that though, especially with the way the scenes were going. Shin definitely deserved to like die in that fight.
Yeah.
But they just didn't kill him. Like,
I said something early on, or not like early on, but when we had the different director, I was like, hey, it'd be great if they just got the other director back, removed all the stakes, and made sure all the characters lived. Because I was worried a character that I was endeared to by the other director was going to die. And then the old director came back, screwed everything up, and made that happen. And I got what I wanted, and now I'm upset. I wished for this. This is my fault.
not completely. There's like a lot of like despite all the good intentions, there's a lot of dumb stuff that happened that kind of really ruined this. Another thing was towards the beginning, where after Talala kind of destroys most of the Amazons, I think it's 2/3 or something, but the number is not really important right now. The extermination squad just disbands because they believe that all the Amazons are dead, and
well, it's not just that. It's not that they believe. It's that the higher-ups told them to disband. They gave them their final check plus a little extra.
Yeah, but their boss was all like, when she was talking to her boss, like she was under the impression that she still had the extermination squad, or maybe like she knew she didn't, but she just said it just so it would work in that context for that situation.
I guess.
It's like, oh yeah, I was contact my extermination squad. And like, I make sure they are back together.
I really hate how they're sort of humanizing scenes came so late. Like, this would have been such good information to have early on. Like, what tethers them, like, what really drives them to take this money. If it's money for the sake of money, it's not really an interesting motivation. But if it's money to fund something, if it's money to pay for someone's medical bills or something like that, something to get invested in, then we sort of get invested in those characters a little more. And the fact that they had to shoehorn it in, and how sloppily it was done. Hey, you're gone, but no, wait, you're back. It really sort of cheapened it.
Yeah, the speed at which they came back together, it was like almost the next scene.
Yeah, and I really would have liked maybe they disband at the end of one episode and then come back together in this episode, you know, and
Yeah,
yeah, and conclude with them being brought back together by the kid, Drill Nose. What's his face? Drill
Mamoru,
Nose. Mamoru.
Mamoru.
Yeah. And for an episode, the episode titled M, even though the plot revolved around that character's actions, it didn't really revolve around that character at all. Like, we got a little bit with him
Yeah,
and some of the decisions he made, but overall, I don't feel like it was enough. Like, there is a better way to sort of balance it, I feel like, because I'd like him to feel like Amazon's secondary, you know? In
yeah.
a way.
I just think that a lot of the weight on his character really came from like the plot and what was like directly happening. But when we go to like the character himself, he can't really like pull the weight onto himself.
Mm-hmm.
And like in that kind of context where the team was kind of like telling Mamoru and Haruka to come back and be with the team, he was kind of giving that like skittish response.
Yeah.
Which it would make sense because that's been his character, but it also just doesn't help like the actual scene. I
Yeah.
feel.
And like it shows no character progression. You don't really get to see any sort of conviction in what he
Well,
says, and also he doesn't like respond really.
yeah,
You
the
know?
lack of response is something that wish we had some kind of like hint at.
Yeah.
It does show some sort of progress though, because usually he would be kind of like an open book when it comes to his feelings. So for him to kind of like have some reservedness, maybe can show like he's matured a bit, or he
But
doesn't just.
the problem lies with how that affected the extermination squad. They're just left feeling sort of like the the dejected parents of a delinquent son. You know, or like they're waiting up in the middle of the night waiting for him to come home. He came back with a tattoo, kind of drunk. You know, they're just a little like, I don't know. They seem sort of like pushovers for this guy, and I understand. Like, these last few episodes, they have characterized him as a child for me now. Like, I see it now, but I don't know. Be a little harsher to him. A little bit more tough love. Bring him back.
Mm,
What?
yeah.
What?
No,
I
that's
don't.
just like my general reaction to what was going on in the episode. I'm just like, nah.
Why? Because you're watching it again right now?
No. It's just it's just like an feeling
Yeah,
overall.
and in terms of like setting up the sequel season, it doesn't really do a good job because, I mean, it gets the base level there. You know what? I guess it does do a good job at like setting up a next season, but it doesn't really do a good job at concluding its own. And it doesn't like leave me intrigued to watch the next one. It just tells me, oh, it's just not done yet. It's kind of like with Infinity War, how people thought it was going to be a standalone. No, it's first of a two-parter. So come back later. And the problem here lies, like, for us American fans who want to support this legally, we don't have that option just yet. So, and the stuff is available, so I don't know why it hasn't happened. I don't know. Alex, do you have any more thoughts here?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Well, anyways, guys, if you like this episode, hit that like button and subscribe if you want to hear more from us each week. Don't forget, tomorrow we're going to be releasing our full series review. where we talk broader topics about this show and if you should watch it or not. But I guess if you're here, you've already watched it, so hooray, we made it! I'm glad we finally finished this series. Kinda, because we still got season 2. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Keep it juicy.
See ya.
Oh, and also next week is Toku Week. Get excited! You're so excited.
When is season 2
I don't know.
getting released in America?
No idea. No idea. Honestly. Nothing was announced.